Hello, everybody. Welcome back to LettermenRow.com. I am Jeremy Birmingham. This is Bermanology. Today, we are taking stock in the class of 2024 and putting it on the west coast of the country, heading out to California to talk to Peyton Woodyard, one of Ohio State's 7 offers in the class of 2024 and a potential 5-star player in that class. So let's get to it. We are back. We are with Peyton Woodyard, Ohio State 2024 offer from St. John Bosco in Bellflower, California, one of the country's premier prep football powerhouses. So first of all, let's start there. Peyton, congratulations on the season opening win for you guys. You went down and beat up a pretty good Miami Central team. I mean, what was that like for you just to get back on the field and to do so in front of fans?
It was great, especially having that full house at Bosco. The atmosphere was different. And I'll say ever since Miami Central came to the dinner the night before, we're just fired up, ready to go. And it was just, I don't think any of us have ever been that hyped to play a football game in our lives. But it was just a great experience. And I'm glad our team came out with the win. I'm glad I was able to help.
I watched a game out there at St. John Bosco 2 years ago, and it was senior night for Court Williams, senior night for DJ Uyangalele, like big crowd, huge night. Your freshman season obviously was shortened because of COVID-19. You only played 6 games. You didn't play in front of fans. As a young guy, how important was it for you to get that sort of feeling back, that go out there and feel that energy?
Being able to go out there and feel that energy, it meant a lot because the spring season, the previous year, I wouldn't say it was really because it wasn't really there because the stands weren't packed and the student section wasn't as loud. But this year, you're able to hear the student section getting loud, and just it really got us fired up.
Miami Central is one of Florida's best programs historically, and you guys being out there on the West Coast, how much of that energy to play that game was just about proving that California and specifically Southern California football is as good as anyone in the country?
I think just being able to go out there and represent California, and being able to want to compete for that number 1 spot at the end of the season is what really pushed us to want to go out there and come out on top because it was a really important game at the end of the day. And we all understood that.
Well, for you, obviously playing 6 games as a freshman to now being expected to sort of be a key cog in the defense as a sophomore, you're in the first national rankings. 247 Sports released their national top 100 for the class of 2024. And I think your player ranked number 20. There's a lot of weight and a lot of expectations foisted on you right now. And did you feel any sort of pressure to live up to that, knowing that those rankings came out the day before your first game?
Knowing that those rankings came out the day before, I would say it put a little bit of pressure on me, but I like it because it helps me push me to play better and be fired up every game. Because I got to play like I got something to prove, and especially being in that number 2 spot, not being number 1, really at my position, really helps me. I feel like have something to strive for, and I'm coming for everything this season.
I'm always curious about this, Peyton. So here you're ranked number 2 at safety behind a kid from Texas. Nobody's seen a lot of film on any of you guys because you said a lot of kids in your class didn't even play varsity a year ago. You lost half of your season. Do you feel like rankings at this point are sort of irrelevant, and what really matters, I guess, is offers? I mean, I know it's always a powerful motivator and it's something that makes you, strive for something, but do they matter to you?
I wouldn't necessarily say rankings matter, but rankings do matter. They matter to a certain extent. I'd say because it also helps the college coaches get an idea of where you're at and each player. And I think them being able to see your film and being able to put stuff on film is what's really important. And after this season, I feel like the rankings will be more like set in stone. Not set in stone, but like
certainly more accurate.
Be able to, more accurate, especially with this 24 class.
Urban Meyer used to say when people would ask him about the national recruiting rankings for the team rankings that if they were keeping score, he wanted to win. So it always made sense that even if the rankings don't matter to you personally, you still want to be the best because that's why you do what you do. So,
Yes,
Peyton,
sir.
for you, you're one of 7 offers in the class of 2024 for Ohio State. 3 of them are to kids on your team. You visited Ohio State in June and you camped there with the Buckeyes. And when we talked at the time, it sort of seemed like you were surprised at just the entirety of what Ohio State was coming from the West Coast. Now that
Yes,
you've
sir.
had a little bit of time to move away from that and see other places this summer, how much of that feeling remains? I mean, is it still one of those programs you're like, okay, I have to get back there?
Yeah, it's definitely a program that I feel like I got to get back to. And it's just like I always said, like Ohio State's always one of those programs that put out the top DBs. Like I'd say each year, every class, they always have a DB that's good. Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams. Oh, not Greedy. That's, I mean, what's his name?
That's LSU. You're
Denzel
just
Ward.
combining
Jeff
all.
Okuda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about Jeff Okuda. I mean, they always have that one cornerback or safety. Well, Proctor's there right now, and also Court Williams, and they're going to be top picks in their class after coming out of Ohio State.
Court obviously is a kid from your high school. I mean, he's been through a little bit of a tough spell here in his freshman year. Hurts his knee, COVID, all that happens. You got a chance to run into him and talk to him a little bit about the experience. How valuable is it on your visit at Ohio State to get to talk to a kid who's only a year away from being in your position?
I feel like just being able to talk to him about the school and how just being up there and the living situation, just how you have to, like the weather conditions and stuff. Cause you go up there, it's not going to be easy. It's like, it's not, and nothing's expected to be easy. You got to go up there and work hard. And, Court Williams definitely is the definition of hard work is, what everyone says.
Yeah. Court, I'm actually like creating the Court Williams for President fan club, an event like 15 years from now, when he's old enough to actually run for president, I'm going to make sure that people start voting for him.
Yes,
Peyton,
sir.
you and DJ, I'm sorry, Mateo, and you guys have a group of guys out there, like I said, that have Ohio State offers. Marcellus, Mateo, Kingston, 4 guys in your class, 4 guys in your high school that are underclassmen, because obviously Ernest Green there in the 22 class has an offer. Do you guys talk as a group about what is the realistic option or possibility of heading all of you guys away from California for school?
We definitely talk about schools we like and where we could see ourselves going. And often Ohio State pops up in the question. And they're definitely a school we're all looking at and have on our radar.
Is it easy to tell? And fans kind of do this thing sometimes, Peyton, where they see a kid from California and they go, okay, that kid's never going to leave California. He would never leave. Can you tell from talking to guys around you which guys are actually willing to do that? It's a big step to step out across the country and go out on your own. Do you sense that there's a swell of support for guys that to do that?
Yeah, I'd say definitely talking to like Kingston, Mateo, Marcellus. I think we're all willing to leave California to do what's best for us, but wherever feels right. Is what I always say. Wherever it feels right and feels at home.
I think that is a byproduct of what you guys get taught at Bosco. Just the opportunity to develop yourselves as people. How important has that program and what Coach Negro has done for you, just to kind of help mold you guys as people?
I'd definitely say Coach Negro does a great job with us. He preaches to us every day the importance of football and what it does for us, the brotherhood aspect, and always working hard. He always emphasizes working hard in the weight room, classroom, and then at the end of the day, come and put it all together on the football field.
You on the football field this summer, I was talking to a couple of the people at Ohio State when you were there camping, and we were remarking about just the preparedness that you guys from St. John's Bosco had when you were there at camp. And there was a little bit of back and forth between Ohio State staff not wanting to offer 2024 players yet. They're like, it's too early. We don't know. And then you guys left. 3 of you left with an offer from Ohio State. What was it, do you think, that you showed to Matt Barnes and Kerry Combs that was enough to say, hey, this is why you need to offer us now?
First and foremost, I think it was coming out there and then being able to get eyes on us 2024s and seeing our size, and then after that, being able to go compete in one-on-ones and show them how we compete with all the upperclassmen, and just how, like you said, our preparedness and how ready we were, and also our technique when we did the one-on-ones and all that stuff. And then after, we got to talk to the coaches, and they kind of like were like, oh, I don't know, I kind of want to offer this kid, but he's a 24, you know. But then the next day we came back, got to talk to Coach Barnes, and he ended up offering us.
What did you think of Matt Barnes? I think that a lot of people, Peyton, believe that when they think about the Ohio State secondary, they only think of Kerry Combs. But I think that it's important for people to realize the role Matt Barnes has in the teaching of their defense, but also in the recruiting efforts. You know, what did you think of him as a coach and as a guy that, you know, you were getting to know for the first time?
I think of him as a great coach because he reminds me a lot of our coaches back at St. John Bosco. Coach Hall and Coach King are like defensive guys. They always watch film, and they're really just into that film room. And he even took us up there. First day we got up there, he took us into the film room, showed us some film, and he's just really emphasizing the stuff that they do at Ohio State. And then got to come back, and then even after I got an offer, he showed me some more film. He's just a really great coach, I'd say, at the end of the day. And of course, Kerry Coombs, his resume speaks for itself. He was an NFL coach, put out some great DBs, and just an overall great coaching staff at Ohio State.
Yeah, when Matt Barnes was on my show here at the end of last season, he called himself a football nerd, and I think that is something that guys like you are looking for, because the IQ of the game is certainly what you're trying to gain. I mean, you're a 6'2", 190-pound 15-year-old, so it's not like you have a lot of physical growth to do to get ready, except for just getting stronger. But it's that mental side of things that make things really click.
Yes, sir.
You know, what else is on the docket here? I know you're planning on coming back to Ohio State in September. I know some of the guys are from Bosco. Are you making that trip?
Right now, I was really focused on the season, and helping my team win. But if there's time for that, I'd love to come back up to Ohio State.
Yeah, I thought some of the younger guys were coming with Ernest for his official visit for the Oregon game, but you know, it's one of those things where you guys, I think that's the challenge, right? You're so far away that if you have a game on a Friday night, it's almost impossible for you to get to Columbus for a noon game. But how important is it for you, as you start to look at the big picture of this recruiting process, to see the game day atmosphere in these different stadiums and in different cities that you haven't spent much time
in? I think it's important to see the game atmosphere and see how it is in the stadium and the game day vibes, and how they run everything from pregame, and just see how they go throughout their day, all the players. And at the end of the day, once you get on that field, it's all about playing football and just going out there and knowing what you're supposed to do and going 100%.
If you had the opportunity, Peyton, I guess you do, it's your recruitment, but if you could just plot out exactly how you want this to go from today till the day that you make a decision on a school, how would it be in an ideal world? What would that dream scenario be for
you? Obviously, you want to have the choice of every school you can, but just being from here on is just building a relationship with the coaches that you have contact with, and being able to establish that relationship and just have all your questions answered, so you have no doubt in your mind that's the school you want to go to.
It's kind of crazy. Here we are. It's a week and a few days before coaches can actually talk to the class of 2023 prospects. You still have more than a year ahead of you before they can call you as much as they want to, and before they can really build that relationship. What can you gain out of watching teams play this year and just having those brief, every once a month conversations with coaches? What are you able to gain out of
that? I'm able to gain talking to them, catching up with them. They always ask how my family's doing, and they also talk to us about their program and new things that they're doing over there and doing to improve their team. And just talking about our season is just catching up, just learning more about them learning more about a coach as a person is really important to me.
Last thing, and I'll let you go. We got a lot of time left to talk to Peyton Woodyard over these next couple of years, so I don't want to keep too much of it on now. You're only the second 2024 prospect we've had on the show, so that in itself speaks, I think, to the way that Ohio State viewed you this summer and why I think it's important to have you on the show. But what was the biggest recruiting lesson that you learned this summer about what to expect moving forward?
The biggest recruiting lesson. This is a tough one. I'd probably say, shoot.
You had to learn a couple. I know that.
Biggest recruiting lesson. I don't know. I got to think about this one.
We got time. Well, okay, let's circle back on that. What was the biggest recruiting surprise from all the visits you made? What was the one thing that took you most off guard?
I'd probably say how much attention they show you on, like when you go up on a visit to go see these schools. I'd probably say the attention aspect. They really do a great job of like recruiting. I'd say like they really roll out the red carpet for you when you go up to see these schools, and especially Ohio State. They really just showed Bosco love, especially having two players come through there like Corey Williams and Wyatt Davis. They really showed Bosco love.
Well, as much talent as you guys keep putting out there at St. John Bosco in California, the Buckeyes will continue to recruit it. That is Peyton Woodyard. Him and I will talk a lot more over these next few years, I imagine. And I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Birminology on Lettermen Row. Thanks for watching.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.